Today I'm going to do the Hampstead Walk, and hopefully we'll finish at Kenwood House. When you leave the station, turn to your right, cross over Heath Street, and then go straight forwards up Holly Hill. Now that building there with the clock tower used to be the old fire station. And that's Hampstead Underground station, which I've just left. As I said, I've crossed over. I'm on Holly Hill now. And all we're going to do is just continue straight up the hill here to Mount Vernon. When you get near to the top, you just bear to your left. And that's where I've just come from. I passed University College School, junior school. As I said, when you reach this point on the path, you just bear to your left, round by Mount Vernon.
Sorry.
Right. Just continue in front. The building in front is where Robert Louis Stevenson stayed for a short time. Now this was a bed and breakfast. Robert Louis Stevenson suffered from TB and he'd come to Hampstead for the fresh air. And what we're going to do, we're going to turn to our left, immediate left, by that garage door. And that's where I've come down from. I'm on the corner beside Robert Louis Stevenson home or place. And as I said, we're going to turn immediate left into Holly Walk. And we're going to head down past St Mary's Church. The building in front was the first official police station in Hampstead. The first one was an old lock-up by Mckenna Hall. But let's say we just continue down. We're heading towards St Mary's Church. I'm standing outside St Mary's Catholic Church, opened in 1816, and it's a place where Dame Judy Dench married. I'm in St Mary's Church, where Dame Judy Dench got married. Now that's where I've just come from, St Mary's, where Judy Dench got married. And as a coincidence, Dame Judy Dench lived here along Prospect Place at number 9 for about 30 years. She sold her property in 2001. But as I said, we just continue straight down. Now the cemetery on my left is the extension to St John's Parish Church Cemetery, opened in 1812. So we just continue down till we get to St John's Parish Church. I cross over here, go straight through the gate into St John's Parish Church. And that's where I've just come in through that gate, and in front is St John's Parish Church. There's been a church on this site for over 1,000 years. This one was built in 1745. And what we're going to do, we're just going to follow the path round to the right of the church, and the first grave we're going to go to is John Harrison. Now I'm standing with my back against the front of the church, and let's give you a panoramic view. In front you've got Church Row. Quite a few famous people lived along there. And as I said, we're going to carry on round by the church. As I said, we just continue round beside the church. We'll come to the John Harrison grave. In front is the John Harrison tomb. Now he's one of the greatest inventors of all time. He solved the longitude problem. He lived in Red Lion Square, didn't live in Hampstead, but he preferred to be buried up here. And what we're going to do, we're going to follow the path round, and the next grave we're going to see is John Constable. Just follow the path all the way down to the bottom and then bear to our left. In front is John Constable's family grave. Now, all his family's buried here except for his eldest son, who's buried at Jesus College, Cambridge Chapel. His wife unfortunately died in 1828 when he first moved into his house in Wiles Walk. Now, he's famous for the hay wain and other landscape paintings, even Admiral House. Now from here we just continue round the path and we'll leave the church. We just continue straight up till we come by the main entrance of the church again. Joanne Bailio, Norman Shaw, there's quite a few famous people buried here. I just come up the path there and came through the gate. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to cross over to the extension, St John's extensions, and have a look at Gerald du Maurier's grave, which is just across the road. I said Gerald, I meant to say George du Maurier, who was the father of all the famous writers, Gerald, Daphne du Maurier. Just continue straight along Church Road. At 17 Church Road lived H.G. Wells and Peter Cook. I'm outside number 27 Church Road, and it's here where George du Maurier lived for a short time, and it's where Gerald du Maurier was born. Next door is number 26, and Lord Alfred Douglas, Bossy, as he was called, lived. He was the lover of Oscar Wilde. I'll just give you a little view of where I've just come from. Okay, at the end of Church Road, all we do is bear to our left, cross over the zebra crossing, and down Oriel Road, or Oriel. Okay, as I said, we're going to cross over. I said zebra crossing, but in fact it's traffic lights, so we just cross over and just continue straight down Oriel. Well, I've just crossed over the lights. Just give you a panoramic view. As I said, we're going to turn down here into Oriel Place. I'm still in Oriel Place, and to my left is a magnificent. Okay, at the end of Oriel Place, all we do is cross over the zebra crossing and into Flask Walk. Okay, I'm back on Hampstead High Street, where the underground station is. I'll just give you a quick view of where I am. And as I said, all we're going to do is cross over the zebra crossings, bear to our left, and then right into Flask Walk. Now that's where I come from. I cross over the zebra crossing, and as I said, we're going to bear to our right here into Flask Walk. So we just continue straight in front. Right, this is the famous Flask Public House. It's not the original Flask Public House, but this is the place where they bottled the well water, the medicinal Calibit water, and had it transported or shipped down to the City of London to be sold. Okay, from the Flask here, we just continue straight down in front along Flask Walk. The road to the left of the Flask, back lane, John Hurt lived up there back in the 80s, I believe. But as I said, we just continue straight down. So let's give you a panoramic view of where I am. We just, as I said, just continue straight past the bathhouse. We'll be past the Bear House, the Hampstead Museum, and Wyldes Tavern. Now that's where I've just come from, along Flask Walk here. And across the road, that building there, is Bear House, the Hampstead Museum. We just continue straight in front. Along Wyldes Walk. Now the studded door in front here belonged to Newgate Jail. Now Newgate Jail was knocked down in about 1902 to make way for the Old Bailey. Now this was the entrance to the debtors' prison side. In front is the Wyldes Tavern. It's on the site of where John Keats nursed his brother Tom, who had TB. Unfortunately he died, and it's believed that Keats contracted the TB from his brother. Anyway, we just continue straight in front. Okay, when you get to the fountain here, we're going to be bearing to our left up Passage Walk, Well Passage. Hampstead became famous in the early 18th century, famous for its chalybeate medicinal waters. It became sort of a spa town. As I said, now 6 acres of land plus the medicinal well were handed over to the people of, or the poor of Hampstead, and the benefits were to go to the poor. Now a 21-year lease was given to a John Duffield, who built a spa house here, or long room, where people would come up and drink the waters and be entertained. Just give you a little view of where I am. As I said, we'll be going along Wyldes Passage here, straight to the top, heading towards Cannon Hall Place. That's where I've just come from. Just give you a little panoramic view of where I am. I'm on Well Road now, and all we do, we just continue straight up the hill beside Cannon Hall. Now if you remember at the start of the walk I showed you the police station. Well, this was the first official lockup. Okay, if you continue straight you come into Squires Mount, which leads onto East Heath Road, which takes you down to the Vale of Health. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to be turning to my left here by Cannon Hall. Now if you notice, the bollards are shaped like cannons. In fact they are old or ex-cannons. Now Cannon Hall was the home of Gerald de Moray and Daphne de Moray. And we're just going to continue straight in front. Now Cannon Hall used to be the old magistrates' court, and that's why you had the old lock-up here. Now Gerald de Moray was the father of Daphne de Moray. That leads to Christ Church, but we just carry along straight in front along Cannon Place, leading into Hampstead Square. In front is Christ Church, designed by Samuel Dort, who designed the smallpox hospital at the Archery, Highgate. Just give you a quick view where I am, and we're just going to carry on straight across. Now just give you a view of where I am. I'm standing with my back against Christ Church. That's where I come from. There's Christ Church there. Can't make much of it. There. Let's give you a view. And what we're going to do is just continue straight in front here. When you get to this point in the path, just turn to your left down the little turning there. That's where I've just come down from Christ Church. Let's give you a little panoramic view. I'm on Elm Road now. Now Henry Coe lived up here for about a year. But what we're going to do, we're going to take the turning On my left, down some steps. As I said, we turn left down here and just continue straight. At the bottom we come to New End. Now that's where I've just come down from. Just give you a panoramic view of where I am. And that used to be the New End Theatre. Used to be the old mortuary for the hospital. So we just continue down. And before this was the hospital or dispensary, it used to be the old workhouse. So there was quite a bit of poverty in Hampstead. But we just continue down. We'll burn to our right shortly. In front, you've got the White Bear. It used to be a public house. It's been taken over by a school, and there's a bit of indecision whether to turn it back into a pub or as a school. But as I said, we're going to turn right here. So that's where I've just come down from. I'm on New End, and as I said, we're going to turn right here. When you get to this point in the road, all we're going to do is turn to our right into Streetley Place. I'm in Streetley Place, and this was the old chimney of the workhouse. So we just follow the path round to our left. Just continue in front. In front is Mansfield's Place. It's like a cul-de-sac or dead end. They said it was built for the policemen of the borough, but that's only a rumour. I'm inside Mansfield Place. There's one thing about this place, they've got lovely gardens. Just continue straight up. At the end of Streetley Place, we come out by Back Lane, which leads on to Heath Street. Okay, that's where I've come from, Streetley Place. Here is Back Lane, which takes you down by the Flask public house. And in front you've got Heath Street, and we'll be heading straight up in front, crossing over the zebra into Golden Yard. Just give you a panoramic view of where I am. Okay, now that's where I've just come from. I'm on Heath Street. Just give you a panoramic view of where I am. And what we're going to do, we're going to cross over by the zebra and then turn straight up to my left. As I said, we just cross over the zebras here and just continue straight up in front. This is Hollybush Steps, and to my left is Golden Yard. But what we'll be doing, continuing straight up the steps, heading towards the Hollybush public house. Right, as I said, to my left is Golden Yard. Okay, well, I'm standing at the centre of Golden Yard. That's where I come from Heath Street, passing Golden Yard, and now we're at the top of Holly Mount. And to your right is, well, quite famous Hollybush Public House. Used to be the stables of George Romney. George Romney never really stayed here. He was persuaded by his son to buy the place. Not this one, this is all new. This has been converted from the old stables. Anyway, we just continue round and then we're going to be going to our right. On the top of the bank, Mount Vernon, that's where we started the walk. But anyway, as I said, we're going to continue round by Hollybush Hill into Hampstead Grove. And there's a blue plaque to George Romney. Now George Romney was more famous for his association with Emma Hart, Lord Nelson's that's the Holly Hill. In front is the plaque to George Romney. Now George Romney is famous for Lady Hamilton, his association with Lady Hamilton. Her name was Emma Hart or Amy Lyon. But anyway, what we're going to do, we're just going to continue straight along into Hampstead Grove. In front you have Fenton House. And beside Fenton House you have Bolton House, famous for Joanne Bailey, 19th century play writer. I've just gone or passed through the gates. In front is Fenton House. Okay, that's the main entrance to Fenton House. Now it's owned by English Heritage. It's got a lovely garden, it's got a fine collection of porcelain, musical instruments, etc. Well worth a visit. But anyway, we just continue straight in front along Hampstead Grove. Now this is where George the Maurier moved from Church Row. And he stayed up here till about 1895. We just continue in front and we're heading towards Admiral House. At the end of Fenton House garden wall, you come to Admiral Walk, Admiral Lodge. So we're going to bear to our left. This is Admiral House, made famous by P.L. Travers, Mary Poppins. This is where Admiral Boom, in her Mary Poppins version, would fire his cannons off. In actual life, a certain lieutenant, Fountain North, did actually fire cannons from here back in the early 19th century, about 1803, 1805 or what have you like this. Now beside it is Grove Lodge, where Goldsworthy, Forsyte Saga author, lived. Now this building here was painted by John Constable and he called it a romantic house in Hampstead. Anyway, we head back up to the Grove and we carry on straight burn to our left. On my left is the Hampstead Reservoir. We just continue straight in front, heading towards Whitestone Pond. As I said, you've got the reservoir, New River Reservoir here. They also have a astrological society here where you can look at the stars at night at winter time, and a meteorological society here. Check up on the website, Hampstead website. But as I said, we just continue straight till we get to Whitestone Pond. Okay, a panoramic view of where I am. Now that's where I've just come from, Hampstead Grove, and there's the New River Reservoir, beside Whitestone. This is the stone which Whitestone Pond's named after. It's a mile marker. Okay, what we do now is just cross over here, and find is the pond, Whitestone Pond, used to be called Horse Pond. We just continue straight towards Jack Shaw's castle. Now the reason you have ponds up here is not going back less than 100 years. People used to have horses or get donkeys to come up all the way up the hill here. It used to be full of donkey rides. And they'd come to the top of the hill here and then go into the water to refresh themselves. And we'll just follow the pond round by the flag pole and then head on straight towards Jack Shaw's castle. And beside the ponds, now the flag pole there, the flag on top is that of the City of London, who maintain this part of the Heath. And we're on the highest spot in North London, 440 feet above sea level. And what we're going to do is just going to continue straight past Jack Straw's. The road to my right is Spaniards Road. It takes you all the way up towards Highgate. You pass the Spaniards in on the way. But what we're going to do is head on straight down New End Way. And beside Jack Straw's castle, Charles Dickens used to drink in here, Karl Marx used to drink in here, I drank in there sometimes. It's no longer a pub, it's all private flats. But anyway, we continue straight down the hill. The original pub was not bombed or whatever, pulled down. This building here was built in the 60s, 1960s. I've just passed Jack Straw's castle. I'm now heading towards the Pergola and Hill Garden. Going back to about 1673, a notorious highwayman, Francis Jackson, was strung up here in a gibbet, and his body was left to rot for 18 years as a warning to other highwaymen. Anyway, what we're going to do, we're going to turn immediate left here by that wall. As I said, we turn left here, we're heading towards the Pergola. And that's where I've just come from. And when you get to this point, you just go through the gate here and follow the path round. We're heading towards the Pergola. Go through the door and up the spiral stairs, and we'll be going up towards the Pergola. Now I've just come up the spiral stairs, and here we are on the Pergola. Now you just follow the path all the way round. The Pergola was designed by Thomas Mawson for Lord Levershulme back in 1904-1906. The buildings in front have all been converted into luxury flats. Now before, as I said, Lord Levershulme owned the property, then Lord Inverforth, shipping merchant, owned the property, then he bequeathed it to the Mckenna House Hospital, who eventually had it sold off into flats. Let's continue straight. At the end of the Pergola, you come to the Hill Garden, which we'll be walking down to now. So let's walk down the steps. Okay, there's other photographers here. Okay, now that's where I've just come down from the Pergola. Now what I'm going to do is head round to my right and into the Hill Garden. And we're heading on to Golda's Hill Park. So let's continue straight in front. Let's continue straight in front. That's where I've just come from, and when you climb up the steps, all you do is turn to your left and just continue round. Alright, be careful you don't follow the path all the way round to your left. Just follow the path round as it bears to its right, just follow the path round, and eventually you come up here by the gate. Just go through the gate and continue straight in front down the dirt path. And there's the gates I've just come through. Just cross over this path here. As I say, just continue straight on the path in front, and we're heading towards Golda's Hill Park. Just continue down by the steps, leads us into Golda's Hill Park. Just continue straight ahead through the gates, and we'll be crossing what they used to call Sandy Road. Welcome to Golda's Hill Park. Now we've got to thank Thomas Barrett back in 1906 for saving the park for the public. Now you've got an animal sanctuary here, tennis court. It's a beautiful park, so if you ever get the opportunity, come down here. Now the building in front is the restaurant and toilets. So what we're going to do is just going to carry on round, going to our right, heading back onto the main road. Well, I've just left Golda's Hill Park through those gates here. Now Thomas Barrett, if you don't know, was the fellow who was behind Pear's soap, and he wrote the history of Hampstead. Anyway, what we're going to do, we're going to cross over the zebra crossing there, and then bear to our right and continue up slightly till we get to the old Bull and Bush. Right in front is the old Bull and Bush, made famous by Floyd down at the old Bull and Bush. It's also supposed to be the place where William Hogarth, the painter, illustrator, lived before it was a pub. But anyway, what we're going to do, we're just going to carry on and take the first turn in on our left. And that's where I've just come from, Golda's Hill Park in front. There's the old Bull and Bush Public House. And as I said, we're going to turn here, left into North End. If you continue straight in front, you come into the Heath. Well, that's where I've just come from. I'm on North End. And over there is North End Avenue. Now the first house on the left is the site of what they call Pitt House. But it was also the home of Ian and Peter Fleming, James Bond fame. Just give you a view of where I am. As I said, if you continue straight, you come on to Sandy Heath, up into Spaniards Road. But what we're going to do, we're going to turn to our left, continue along North End Avenue. I'm standing beside Michael Venturous' house. We just continue in front. We're heading towards Wildwood Terrace, where Pesner's home. Pesner's home, I hope that's how I pronounce it. Okay, here's Wildwood Terrace. We just go in here, it's only a slight detour. This is the home of Nicholas Pesner, who wrote about 47 volumes of British buildings. Just give you a view of where I am. Okay, we'll be heading back to the main path. Okay, that's where I've just been, Nicholas Pesner's home. We just continue around the main path. We're heading towards Wiles Farm, one of the most important buildings in Hampstead. In front is Wiles Farm. Now this place was taken over by the Hampstead Garden Suburb Trust and was the home to Ray Unwin, who designed the garden suburb. But it's also the home where Charles Dickens, after the death of Mary Hogarth, his sister-in-law, came to rest or recuperate. Now he'd just moved into Doughty Street, 48 Doughty Street, where the Charles Dickens Museum is now. It's also the site where John Linnell, the painter, lived, and William Blake would come up here. One of the most important buildings in Highgate. Anyway, we just continue back on the main path. Just continue straight ahead, cross the path, straight in front. When the path comes to an end and you've got that fence in front, you bear to your right and go straight up the hill, and we'll be heading towards the Spaniards Inn. This part of Hampstead is known as Sandy Heath for the reason it is made up of two types of sand, Bagshot sand and Claygate sand. And that's why we have so many springs in Hampstead and Highgate, because the water soaks into the sand, and as soon as it hits the London clay, which could be it comes back up again in the form of springs. Anyway, we carry on straight in front till we get to the Spaniards. And that's where I've just come from. Okay, I'll just give you a view. And that path there is called Sandy Road, which takes you all the way up to Golda's Hill Park. But anyway, I'll give you a panoramic view. Spaniards Road here in front, and all we do is continue in front. That building in front, about 100 yards, would be the Spaniards Inn. Just continue on, we'll be coming to the Spaniards Inn very soon. I'm looking at the back end of the Spaniards Inn, and to the right is the old toll gate. Now all this land used to belong to the Bishop of London, and there you had to pay a toll to enter the road. Anyway, just continue till we get to the front of the Spaniards. I'm at the front of the Spaniards Inn now, that's where I come from. There is the old toll gate. Now the Spaniards Inn is famous for one highwayman, one Dick Turpin. Okay, from the Spaniards Inn we're going to head now towards Kenwood House where the walk will end. Just give you a panoramic view, so we just continue straight down. Just continue straight. Well, that's where I've just come from, Spaniards Inn. Just give you a little view of where I am. And here we are, heading into Kenwood. So I'll be going over to that gate there where the family is, and turning up there by the main drive, the Serpentine Drive as it's called. So just go in that gate over there. Just give you a panoramic view. If you continue straight on, you come up by Highgate Village. Now we just carry on past those two pillars, and we've got to be grateful for Edward Cecil Guinness of the Guinness family, who gave this building, Kenwood, and all its fine art back in 1927, the big crest, the Ivor big crest. Anyway, we just continue straight till we get to Kenwood. Welcome to Kenwood House. This is the north side, the main entrance. The south side you have the cafeteria, which is very good, and the orangery. Now the two wings of this house were built by the nephew of William Murray, David Murray, back in 1794 by Robert and James Adams. Now Kenwood House is famous for its Rembrandt, its library. Well worth a visit, and it's free to get in. This is the end of my Hampstead Walk. I hope you enjoyed it. Now this wing, or the west wing, is the music room. You get all the Gainsborough paintings inside there. And we just continue straight in front. Now what I'm looking at is the orangery. And then the centrepiece is the main building, and on the far side is the great room or the library. And all this was designed by Robert Adams and his brother James Adams. Now I'm standing here with my back against the orangery window, and I'm looking down, and at the bottom is a pond called the £1,000 Pond, and in the summertime they used to have music there. Just give you a quick panoramic view. As I said, this is the end of the walk. I hope you enjoyed it. This is the Hampstead to Kenwood Walk. And in front you've got the toilets and the cafeteria. I do recommend the cab. It's very good, the food here. Let's give you a quick view. Well, this is definitely the end of the Hampstead and Kenwood Walk. Now if you want to get back to Hampstead from here, you get the 210 to Jack Straws and then walk down Heath Street.